Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Dark, and I'm gonna give you a Mortal Kombat review coming right from me. All right, so first things first, would I recommend this movie? Fuck no, don't ever watch this movie. This is a fucking piece of shit. This movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, it doesn't take the title, but it's up there, right? Like, the number one worst movie I've ever seen is Son of the Mask. That has to be everybody's worst movie, right? Mortal Kombat is pretty bad though. All right, let's go over this point by point. All right. Number one, the acting. The acting was fucking terrible. Like, most of these actors were just fucking terrible. The only one that I seemed to enjoy was Jax, and Kano was, I would say, decent. He wasn't like a great actor or anything like that. He was kind of the comic relief for the movie, which is part of my problem with it, right? Right, the Kano in the video games, he's like menacing, he's imposing, and in this one, he was kind of a joke, right? And unfortunately, half his jokes were really fucking cringy, right? Like, he had some good lines, and then the rest were just like, oh man, did you just fucking say that? Like, I want to turn this shit off right now, right? Now, most of that isn't his fault because the writing also fucking sucks, right? Like, the writing in this movie is fucking terrible, right? You have so many like inconsistencies, right? Most of the movie just happens in like a fucking sand pit. There's this one part where like Liu Kang talks about how he like found these guys or whatever, and they were just like fucking walking around outside, right? Like, it was they were coming to him, but he took credit for it, and nobody said anything, right? That's great, great writing. Some other inconsistencies, right? Like Kung Lao, he threw his hat and it like hit somebody, and then when his hat like bounces off, he teleports and grabs it, right? But how the fuck did he throw his hat if he hadn't teleported to get in the room yet? Right? They didn't think about that shit, right? Kano stealing like fucking amulet and all this shit, and nobody even having any kind of security on a wanted criminal. It's just fucking dumb. But that's just bad writing, right? What about the directing? Does the directing save this movie? Fuck no, the directing is also bad, right? Yeah, parts of the movie where characters like Sonya Blade are just like barely reacting to some of the stuff that's going on screen. I mean, she was the worst one, right? Like, her acting was fucking terrible too. Um, Jax's chicken arms were bad, and that leads me to my other point. The CGI was also bad, right? You got um, at the beginning, right, when you're going through the first fight scene, and it's that Scorpion Origins fight scene, right? And that fight scene is pretty good, right? Up until the point where Scorpion stabs some guy in the head, and you're just like, wow, that CGI is fucking terrible. This is some fucking Spy Kids level CGI shit right here. And you're like, man, I'm in for a rough ride. This is just fucking the beginning of the movie. They already ran out of money in like the best part of the fucking movie, right? Like, just the budget was gone and shit. And I think they used the budget on Goro, which he was like barely in the movie anyways. It was fucking dumb, right? Now, we've been threatened with these guys saying that they're gonna make sequels or something, which is please, please don't, right? Fuck, like, I didn't have high expectations for this movie, but I was thinking at least the fight scenes would be cool, and they weren't. They were also lackluster. They were also shitty. Like, they all took place in roughly the same area. You know, that was just fucking trash. Right. So what do I rate this movie? I rate this movie about a 4 out of 10. Right. Like, I think there was at least two cool fight scenes. At the end, they like ganged up on Sub Zero for some fucking reason. I don't know. Right. So yeah, would I recommend watching this movie? If you rent it, please don't watch it with anybody else. Don't subject them to that shit. Just like watch it by yourself if you're a fan, and then just prepare to cry, right? Because there's a lot of just the movie's like really bad. So please don't even watch it. You could skip it. You'd be all right. All right. Thanks. See you next time.